everybody. Welcome back to another bling bling dang dong. There it goes. See, I just can't do it right. Welcome back to another episode of the Space Tomatoes podcast. We are not potatoes. Well, maybe a little bit. Thank you for joining us today. If you like us, give us a thumbs up. If you don't, give us a thumbs down. Leave a comment. Be interactive, engage, do something. I don't know. I'm your host, Havok. I can't even talk. What is wrong with me? I'm your host, Havok, and with us we have our other host, LX.
Hello.
Hi, LX.
Hi.
And today we have a special guest on, Tyrrax, from the War Dragon. Dang. See, I got to do a lot of editing already.
Just roll with
From
it.
the
It's
War
all good.
Dragons
You're human.
right from the War Dragons community. He not only plays the game but also has worked with the API to develop a website for some player stats, etc., and we'll get into that, as well as being the author of a book, an actual book. Welcome to the show, Tyrrax.
Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Our first accomplished author. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Even to me, it's still new. Every time I hear that, like, published author, I get, oh yeah, me. I am. Yeah. Still new, but you didn't forget. So yeah, great stuff.
Well, how long ago did you write the book? When was it released?
I started writing it 3 years ago. It was published 2 years ago, and the reviews have been not bad. Okay, now I'm being cocky. Sorry, but really, the reviews have been not bad. So happy with that.
All right. Well, very cool. And then, so you play War Dragons. How long have you been playing War Dragons?
I started playing War Dragons on the 8th of February, 2016 at 14:27 p.m. And I'm going to tell you why I know that. So
please do. I'm curious.
To the second.
I would like to know.
I've always loved dragons. I have another website about dragons, and not gaming dragons, about I'm going to say it, the real dragons that we all know on stories and legends. I've had that site for like 15 years now. Time does fly. And like I said, dragons. Who doesn't love dragons? So every game that I see that has dragons, I'm drawn to it. I'll give you an example. World of Warcraft, something like 20 years ago. I started playing and I said, I need to have all the dragons. I never kind of accomplished that, but I was very close. Very, very close. So yeah, as soon as I saw World of Dragons, which was in February 2016, boom, I jumped, of course. Oh, and I get to fly the dragons, not just click a button. And as you know, at the time, everything was manual, even though you have auto right now, which is a love-hate thing that I have with auto, as I'm sure many people do. It was all manual. It was good. So I started collecting dragons here. Simple. I mean, not simple. It's been, 9 years now? Yeah, not simple.
Yeah, for sure. And so currently you're actually on my old team, Yin Yang Warriors. Welcome to that team. Hopefully you're liking that team. It was my home for a very long time. I actually ended up in an officer role. It was a very temporary thing. I was going to fill a spot for someone that was, maybe week, 2 weeks, or 6 years. I don't know, whatever.
And suddenly time does fly. Yep.
Oh
yeah. I'm enjoying it.
Really, it's a good team. The leader's awesome. A little sketchy, but besides that,
to be quite honest, if I'm playing a game and some people are not sketchy, I run away. I have to be in the middle of characters. So yeah.
Well, that's a good thing. So what's your favorite dragon of all time?
That is a tough question. However, I did think about it, and I do have a favorite dragon that is not even a recent dragon. It's not even a good dragon, but it was my favorite. Sage, the green thing. And I'm going to tell you why it was my favorite dragon. Most of the dragons you play them for like 20, 30, 50 levels, and they're all, disposable. When I played Sage, I think I was something like level 80-ish, and Sage was my best dragon until I was level 250. So it was a lot of time. Eventually, of course, it started sucking, and I had to get rid of him, her. But it stayed with me for such a long time that I have a deep connection to Sage. So even today, every time I see him, oh, hi, yeah, it became a
Awesome.
friend. So many hours, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think as far as the dragons go, what's interesting about this is we talked about this quite a long time ago, years and years ago, in a hunter chat. Everyone refers to it as scary hunter chat because if you went off topic even a little bit, boot, you're gone. So yeah, it was 100% on topic all the time, hunters only. But we were talking about the whole gender of dragons, right? Like, oh, you know, this one's a boy, this one's a girl, whatever. There are, I know one, there may be one other, but there's, to my knowledge, one for sure, and only one dragon that actually has any gender description in it, and that is Howasset. And it does say it's a her.
And it shouldn't have. In my opinion, with all the stories of dragons I compiled to my website, there should never be a gender, because as far as I know, gender in a dragon is not correct, because dragons can be whatever sex they want. You can have men laying eggs, you can have females doing men. Okay, so it is wrong. I don't know if it's wrong or right. I just feel it's wrong. It's not a he. It's not a she. It's a beautiful entity. It's a it's a thing. It's not a. But yeah, only one.
The lore is certainly all over the place on that.
Yes,
that's
I mean,
for sure.
We now have clowns, but I didn't want to talk about it. But it's irritating to look at a screen and see a dragon defaced with a clown's head. That's just the word I can find for it. Defaced. But okay, moving on.
This is a recent addition they put in the game, I'm guessing.
The new season, okay. The theme is carnival. So you have clowns, you have dragon clowns. Sorry, I think it's an insult to the dragon lore. Putting a face of a dragon with a clown, or a clown on the face of a dragon, I'm just looking at it and like, no.
More so than like pumpkin heads and pirate hats and all that other nonsense they put in there a while back.
A little bit more, and this comes from a discussion that was on Discord last week. Of course, everything in Discord ends up in a row. There are a lot of people that have fear of clowns. I don't have fear of clowns. My wife does. And I know that it's one of those things that it strikes hard. Someone on Discord said, okay, but then you have to think about fear of heights, fear of... I get it. People can have fears of basically everything. But putting a clown on a dragon's face and on the loading screen, I'm sorry. I've seen weird stuff. But this, come on. I was playing on my iPad, and the wifey looked at it, and she looked at me, and I said, okay, I can't play near her now. I have to spend a full season hiding from her because it affects her. It disturbs her. Yeah, I know some people have fear of other things, but fear of clowns is bad. And dragons with clowns, it's also bad. So I have nothing good to say about this season. That's it. And rant over.
Maybe. Yeah, I suppose they could have made it more carnival-like and less, big top, tent type of a carnival thing.
You can have the carnival theme without making dragons look as scary as this. I said scary. I wanted to say fogly, but let's go with scary for the people who fear clowns. But yeah, don't like it.
Yeah. We should do an episode where we dress up in clown suits, Alex, and just go for it.
Alex doesn't.
Come on, little honky nose.
I'm good.
No. Come on.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow.
Stormtroopers, Darth Vader. Hey, I mean, come on. No.
Maybe
just
no.
Just no.
Not after hearing the story about how Ark was sweating his butt off underneath his mask there. So, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. All right. So I don't know. No dressing up for the podcast. No
Maybe I'll wear a
masks.
bandana or something.
Nah, that's lame.
I'm too old to hide my face, man. No.
If you wear okay, well we could do this. We could do the what was that movie where they wore blindfolds because if you didn't have your blindfold on, then they would get you or something like that.
Bird
I don't know.
Box.
We'll just blindfold ourselves.
Bird
What?
Box. That thing with Sandra Bullock.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, I don't know. But we could do that. We'll just do a
There
blindfolded
you go.
podcast.
A movie with Sandra Bullock that I haven't seen.
I think it was a
No excuse. No
I think it was a
excuse.
Netflix original thing. That's back when I still watched movies. I haven't watched movies in a while. They're just kind of
Yeah.
I don't know, not interested.
All right. Well, anyway, sorry for the diversion there. I just thought it might be fun. Whatever. Okay, so you have a website developed, right?
Yes.
What's
So
that website?
my main website with all the stories and legends about dragons is called allaboutdragons.com. And when I started doing this that we're going to talk about, I decided to put the War Dragon statistics as part of the allaboutdragons.com website. So now the statistics are publicly available. They have no ads. I don't want any money from this. And it's stats.allaboutdragons.com because the domain is mine for 15 years. So I just used stats. And it has some, I think, interesting tidbits of information because when I started playing the game, I know that the PG War Dragons website had some leaderboards, and I kind of enjoyed looking at the leaderboards. Like one day I will be on the top 1,000, and suddenly there's nothing. After a couple of years, they abandoned it, and the catalyst of all this that I've done, roughly 1 month ago, I was waking up, I had my coffee, I started playing, I saw that I was attacked. The usual stuff. I click revenge, 500 billion defense. And I thought, is this the best defense in the game? There was no way of knowing. I had no way of knowing. And so, after the coffee, I said, there must be a way. If there is a way, I'll find a way. I even went to line and I asked in the channel, does anyone think that leaderboards? No one gave a damn. People told me, oh, the bots already have that. No, the bots don't have this. The bots have information about Atlas, movements. There is nothing that tells you the top 10 defenses in game from the 41,000 players. There's nothing that tells you the top attacks from the 41,000 players. There is not even who are the oldest teams? Which teams have won the most number of wars? Who is doing the best on the weekly? Well, that's me. I shouldn't talk about that. But, things like that. So I started compiling data, raw data, from my iPad to the PG servers. There's information going back and forth, right? Yeah. Is it encrypted? Yes, it is encrypted. Is it encrypted in a way that I can't access it? No. I didn't even need to do anything illegal because I would never. Let's not talk about the level 80s with maxed out bases again, because we know they exist and it bloody sucks. I found a legal way to, between my iPad and PG servers, start analyzing the traffic, the data. Because, you have raw data, that it just means numbers. And then when you massage the data to information, and information is power, right? So I was able to, 2 weeks-ish, I was able to start getting data about all the players, all the teams, even all the Atlas coordinates, but I don't want anything to do with Atlas because there's too many politics. So right now it's just statistics of everything. I can even tell you that the 3 best years regarding new players in War Dragons were 2016, 17, and 18. However, 2025 is looking like it's going to be the 4th or 3rd best year ever in new players. So the game's not dead. You guys need to unretire.
No,
I'm trying to convince you.
So, so you're
it's a
able
hard
to
sell.
actually go back historically and look at the numbers then of how many people were playing at the time?
I don't even need to do that because in every player's account, there is a column there that says, when did you start playing? When was the last time you played? So, like I said, I started gathering data. And as soon as I have all this data, let me see what I can do with this data. I can tell you that from the 41,000 players total, players that have played in June, like recently, 33,000. So you can immediately see, 8,000 people never came back. Things like this. I love information. Information is power, kind of thing. The difficulty was I have all this data. What can I get from it? Probably nothing. I got leaderboards. I got top 10s, top 20s, top. I like charts. Sue me. So I started compiling everything that I could with the data that was available without doing anything that would piss PG off. In the beginning, I didn't know how they would react to me checking the information for all the players every 90 minutes, which I am doing. But I try not to affect the servers. I've tried to gentle caress the data without just barging in like a stampede. But in the beginning, I was afraid that they might not like it, so I even left my previous team and I said, "Look, I don't want to do anything that might affect the team. I'm going to leave, and then if everything is okay, I'll come back." I never did, but doesn't matter. I was trying to do the right thing. Simple as
Right.
that. Now, I know a lot of things about the API because I created an API on the developers portal. Oh, what can I get with this? Almost nothing. This API is slow. It's not in real time. It's really, really outdated as soon as you look at it. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
found ways. There are ways to get the data more reliable. PG is caching the data, so if you ask for the information of 200 players, it will give you things from 3 hours ago. Is it enough? Probably. I wanted more, so I found a way to disable the cache and get live data. But I can't do 200 at once. The server explodes. I can only get 10. So instead of taking 10 minutes, it takes 2 hours. PG never did the game for this data gathering. I get it. Some of the things, like the example I just gave, I'm doing things at 200 players, everything works. I want real data, new data. Boom, server explodes, and it keeps exploding. Now we all geeks know that PG is using Google Cloud. Google Cloud doesn't explode like that. PG didn't want to do a resilient API. If it explodes, it's because one, they don't care. One, they don't want to do anything about it. I'm fine with that. That gives me a challenge. How can I get the data for 200 people without exploding the server? Fine. It doesn't take 2 seconds. It takes 5 minutes. Fine. I'll do it anyway. And that's what I've been doing, trying to caress the data in a way that I'm happy with the data without pissing PG off.
I have a question about
Yeah,
that
and I
data a
think
little bit. If in perusing that data, is it easy to spot cheaters in there? And if so, has PG just been
Yes.
ignoring that fact for years and years just
Yes.
because they don't want to deal with it?
Yes. Regarding the level 80s with maxed out bases, that we've all seen them. They might be cheaters that PG knows about and doesn't care, cheaters that PG doesn't want to investigate, which means they don't care, or they might be internal PG test accounts. I've been a developer in a past life. I had many accounts for myself to do things that people didn't want me to do. So I thought when I saw level 80, whoa, what is this? This is a PG account or a PG's family account. Oh, you give the account to your niece. Oh, go play. Here's a boom, 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 level 80, max 205. Yeah, go, have fun. It might be that. I'm not saying that it's a cheater 100%. No.
Right.
It looks like it, but one thing I can tell you, it's pretty easy to spot. I have
I
the
think
information
PG.
on
So
everyone's defense and attack. and their level and their XP. I have everything. If I have everything, of course, PG has it for
Yeah.
way over 10
Well,
years.
Doesn't
Sorry, go ahead.
necessarily mean that they pay much attention to it. And in their defense,
Exactly.
in their
They
defense,
probably don't have a trust and safety team. They have all the people in support that we already know about because all the tickets are from 2 or 3 people for the past years. And I'm guessing that they don't have a trust and safety team. There was some guy 2 months ago that told me, "Oh, give me money and I'll give you rubies." And this is fishy. I'm gonna report this person. I reported him or her, and the template answer I got from PG was, "Oh, we're gonna look into it. He's still there."
Yep.
And you know how I know he's still there? Because I can see all the accounts. He's active. He or she.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
I know that there wasn't a ban here. I know there wasn't. So what
Yeah.
are they doing regarding trust and safety? I don't know. Not much.
Yeah, I think so. You've got there are a couple of challenges, right? I was fortunate to go to the Dragon Summit, which PG, this was more heyday kind of PG time. They flew a crud load of players out to San Francisco and put us up in a hotel, and we had basically I don't know, a conference, if you will, with different breakout
with good
sessions.
merch, amazing swag. Yep.
Well, there was a lot more to it than just that, right? We got FaceTime with the developers, with project managers, with the community folks that they had. So we got a lot of good information and things of that nature. It was all, of course, NDA, etc. But the thing that really came to is they wanted more flexibility in the game. They wanted to be able to make changes in the game. However, you have to remember they purchased this game from someone else. The game is fairly old, and when it was developed in one of the oldest UIs available for gaming at the time. And so it is terribly coded. It's impossible to unweave everything and make it so it could be stably modified. And I think as part of that, API is an afterthought. It's a complete and total afterthought. So you're bolting an API onto something that, I mean, what, 2015 APIs were kind of like, yeah, right. So what did you do with an API in 2015? Not a
So
whole lot.
for
Not
those of us
much
that
at
aren't
all,
like
right?
super computer literate, what is API actually? Because I have no idea what it stands for.
API stands for let me put this in the simplest way I can. If you have data in your server that you want to make available for other people, you create a communications layer that allows for everyone to query your data and in the simplest way possible. I'm not going to say, oh, it's a programming interface. Yeah, that's the fancy wording for it, but it's just that you have data here, you have people here. People make questions, and you give them answers. That's what an API does. APIs can be simple. This one is pretty simple, right? Like Havok said, this was done like with band-aids, and I still see a lot of data that refers to ships killed, sailors. I mean, there's stuff there that it was either for Atlas, the original game, or was done for something else, but it bled through the years, and it's still there. It's unused. A lot of things are unused on the API, which is a shame. They could have used it for new stuff, new features, but I think that they made a couple of updates to the API 2 years ago, and they just left. Fine, if it works, well, does it really work? I would say that it kind of works. It's just a little bit 2010. It feels like 2010. I still love Dragons. I still play the game, of course, but could be better. I also know that PG had like 150 to 200 people 5 or 6 years ago, and now they're barely 100. So I'm not going to mess with the politics and whatever. I know that War Dragons was making $1 million per month in revenue. Probably not now. So you have to deal with all of that. It's popular, and now it isn't. Actually,
Yeah.
like I said, this year has been good, but you never know.
I think the whole Game of Thrones
One
thing
one could
helped push it at that period of time. That was like they just kind of hit
Yeah.
upon the lightning in a bottle thing, and once people found out about it, that's everybody was watching that show at the time. I think that had a lot to do with it.
yeah.
Who
Well,
doesn't want to hatch an egg of a dragon? I mean, why wouldn't you?
Sitting there, what is it? 10 years now. I played starting, I think, in 2016, might have been 2017, but a good amount of time. And like Alex likes to say, it's 2 left turns, 2 right turns, and you're home. You know what I mean? They're I think they had the opportunity to really make make this something that would have kept that traction. But the cost of unraveling the code and putting it into a new UI that would allow flexibility was something that they just didn't want to invest in. It's an interesting thing because I loved the game, I really did, but it just got boring. It's the same events on the same schedule. It's just constant, the same thing every day. And yeah, the opponents change, but the feature functionality is when what do they what's new, right? I mean, the dragons are essentially the same wireframes with just different skins on them.
Correct.
So it's the same thing. The spells are largely just recycled, tweaked, tuned, modified slightly, and there you go. It's a new spell. No, it's the same this, but it's called this now.
But it's easier to do everything now because you have auto attacks. And
Yeah.
remember back in the day where you had blue, red, blue. Oh, mages, he has blue, so I have to. Now everything is white. It's not even hard. It's just everything can be. Oh, come on. I mean, it's not everything like 100%, but it's so easy. White. They shouldn't have had the necessity to dumb it down to make it last. You make things last with new features that attract new players or bring back old players. Just continuing the same thing, it's just yeah. And then clowns. I need to stop talking about clowns.
What do you mean they don't put new content in it? They've had new currencies like every season so far, haven't they?
Right.
But
yeah, new
it's the
content
same
equals new
mechanic of the game.
currency.
You don't even need to change the code that much. You just put a new graphic, you call it something else, and it's already done. So it's really not new. And one thing that I need to whine about is the randomness of the game. I love a game where you have to grind. Like, let's go back to World of Warcraft. There was a very specific dragon, the Time Lost Proto-Drake, that was so random. It appeared in a random place at random times. 4 days that I barely slept. I wanted that thing. And lo and behold, one day, 4 a.m., boom, I got the dragon. That is grinding, but as soon as I had it, I was showing it off everywhere I went. Oh man, I got this. In here, you have sequences. Everyone puts the sequence in a spreadsheet so that everyone has the same things. You never get to have anything new or different. Everyone knows exactly what. Come on. I know that the random number generator is not an easy thing to do for a developer, but I've been a developer and it can be done. It's just not that easy, but it can be done.
I mean, you could go with the pseudo RNG, but here's the
I'm
the
happy
issue.
with pseudo RNG.
The issue with doing a true RNG is this: the drops are largely crap. So if you have a random number generator and out of 1,000 of them, 4 of them are good drops, you are going to have people that literally never, ever get a good drop, ever in the game.
So you have fixed sequences and people filling spreadsheets. I can't be happy with that. because
No,
it's vulgar. Everyone
I
has the
don't.
same. I get it. I had to grind in many games to get that one piece of gear, and sometimes I didn't have that one piece of gear, and f this. I'm gonna come back next month. I get it, but if a
Yeah.
player can't endure that, then don't play. Go play Farmville. Get out of here.
You know how to fix all that,
If,
right?
if
You just put it in $100 pack that you can buy for real money.
okay, I knew you were going. And now you have a web store, but you can't buy Elite on the web store. You can just buy what they want you to buy, even though it's good for them. They get more money than the app stores. But look, even the web store. Now that I spoke about the web store, they give you a free thingy every day. Fine, but okay, they did that to get more money. So why didn't they put all the packs that they have in game on the web store? For me, that's like project management 101. If you're gonna buy here, it's best for you and for us. Go here, but you only get to buy half of what we have there. What? Who
Yeah.
thought about this? It's just silly.
You're bringing back bad memories now, because like I
Sorry.
remember because I had one of the older
Come
accounts
play
that I could
again.
pay for the regular in-game elite with the rubies, and then they changed it to
No rubies, just money.
yeah,
Yep.
and then like everybody was angry that, oh well, that guy could pay with the rubies. Why can't I pay with the rubies? And they came out with the Atlas, which you have to pay for. They never had that option in Atlas, so I guess they were kind of thinking ahead in that area.
Yeah, there are caveats.
Yeah, so you said there were 41,000 players now, when it's been like a month or so that it was at 38,000, so it's gone up by 3,000 players this year.
That is
Not even this
correct.
year, in the last couple month or so.
The total, as of not today, not yesterday, as of 46 minutes ago, is 41,350. Like I said, some of these
Wow.
are inactive, but this is the total. And the total for 2025 is now 4,337, which is pretty good. The top 3 years, 2017, 8,000, 2016, 7,000, and 2018, 4,500. So we're catching up with 2018, which was a good
So
year.
mate,
And then,
hear
you
that?
have all the shit years like 2023, 1,720 players. Like bad. But this year is going really
maybe
well.
people are just
And now clouds.
reinvigorated by listening to our ramblings. So Pocket Gems, the residual
Maybe.
checks can be mailed to our post office box.
all 20 of them. All 20 of them. Yeah, so you hear that, retired players? If you're looking for a reason to come back to War Dragons, first don't. But if you were, there's more players joining now, so there's more stuff to do with other
Like help
players.
them build character.
You could absolutely help them build character.
Yeah, we don't say bully
the
around
dread
here.
way.
It's building character.
Yeah, right.
So how long can you actually like have an account inactive? Because I have not logged on since my team disbanded. Like it was 4 years ago now. Is that account still there?
You tell me your account and I'll look it up. Because I don't know if they erased your account or if it's still there with a last seen date of 2018. I don't know. But if
Let's
you
do
tell
a
me, I
look
can
up.
look it up.
LX460.
I'm going to look for all LXs. Probably not. There's LXs galore. There's too many. There can be only one. Oh, come on. LX. Is it LX 460?
460. Yeah.
46. Yep.
Name like LX 46.
Nope.
You have been
Removed.
eviscerated.
What about me? What about me?
I've looked at all the Havoks. I just don't know which one is you. Because there's
HD
more than one.
Level 693, and it's just HAVOK.
Just that?
Yep.
Havok. Nope.
You're gone
Gone.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, my guess is if there's no activity for a period of time, like zero activity, they
Yeah.
age it out.
If
And probably 6 months, I would say they just
if you
purge
re-download
it.
the game, like, and go through like the sign in, I mean, because can use your email and like forgot password, or I don't know, like, or do they just purge it completely?
As of right now, it's
Oh,
really
okay.
purged.
Good.
You could test it.
No, I'm good.
If
Go
you
ahead.
if you still
Download
remember
it.
your email, you can
Yeah.
try it. I'll
No,
help
I've had
you.
the same email for 20 years
Decades.
now.
Yeah.
So, right? Since what,
Come on, Alex. Download
2003.
it. You know you want to know.
Nah, I'm good.
I can help you with that. We can talk later, and if you want, I can
Yeah,
help
we'll talk
you.
later.
Right. My database is at
No,
your.
I'm curious because at the time
Yeah.
I was in a chat with the developers in game, like they were looking for ideas of things, and that's like where the idea for the Diamond 1 and Diamond 2 split came from. Was that chat, and like I asked the developer like how many attacks I did, and he could tell me that number. Like at the time, it was like almost 80,000 or something, and that was like early in the game. I'm like, no way. How many hours have I spent in this game? And he told me, and I don't remember what it was, but I was amazed.
And regarding the attacks and defenses, successful or not, they stopped tracking it.
Oh, they did.
I can see data, but the data is here for like I don't know how many years.
Oh, okay.
And it's not continuously updated as it should be.
Hmm.
That statistic, I would love that statistic. How many times have I been attacked? How many times have I successfully defended? How many? They have the place for it. They have the code for it because there's some values. But then suddenly, screw this. We're not going to.
Like you said, on their website, they used to track that stuff. And it was interesting to me. It was like, how many times has Dodo been used in attacks, this week? I don't know why I find that interesting, but I find that interesting. So,
How many chunk war
Right.
waves have actually
Right.
occurred?
I mean, it's useless information, but I find it curious. Oh, I
like useless
I do have another question for you. You've been playing it. Do you remember that dragon Pog that just would show up? It was like a cartoon looking thing. It was purple with
a
polka
small
dots.
one. Yes.
It was an avatar that it wasn't actually a dragon. It was just an avatar that they would give you.
It was an avatar. Was it pink or something?
Yeah, it was like
pink-ish?
purple and pink, I think. So it would just pop up in somebody's game, and like they would tell you that you have to do some kind of in-game action to make it appear, but they would never tell you what it was, and I never got it. I don't know what it was that made it appear.
I think players became frustrated because no one knew what to do, and then one day they just
and then it was gone. So
yeah, because it wasn't that funny. I mean, it was funny, but no one knew what to do. So yeah, that was the right decision.
Yeah, I always wanted Fweemp though.
I did have that one.
I didn't.
I did do all that garbage.
How did you
like 20? You had to like refer 20 people or something, and
they had to get to like level 50 or something.
Exactly. I started creating alts for myself, but I stopped at like 5 or 6 because you have to do a lot of levels, and man, it's a chore.
I'd be curious to know how many people actually had that stupid thing. I mean, it was pretty much useless, but.
It was cute though, really cute.
No, it was just like like I like the grinding ass. Like for whatever reason, I just enjoyed that. Like I figured not many people are gonna have this thing because it's a pain in the neck, and it's like not worth it at all, except to say like I suffered through that garbage.
That's why I barely slept for 4 days to get one single dragon.
Exactly.
It was rare. No. The grinding is what separates the really hardcore. It's not the money. It's not what you buy in the store. It's how much you grind. That's my take on it. Again,
for sure.
My opinion, my 2 cents.
I enjoyed that part for whatever reason. I'm not really sure what that reason was, but that part appealed to me. Because I wasn't a super good flyer, so probably that's why. I excelled at that part of the game.
You were really good at flying warriors. Come on.
No, I was better at that invoker, the first one. Yeah, dude, I was great with that thing.
Yeah, a
And
lot
and
of
now
people got that thing down.
there's the whole thing of a good player needs to be able to fly a hunter. If you only fly sorcerers or warriors, you're shit. Come on. A
Well,
dragon is a dragon is a dragon. It flies. You
well,
pilot it. If you do what you're supposed to do, in my book, you're good. Not in my book, but the
yeah.
expression in my book.
Yeah, we got to talk about your book.
But what you will find, and this is a truism, right, is all of the top flyers, the people that are the best in the game, every single one of them, without question, flies hunters. Almost exclusively.
Yeah,
Not
you're not
exclusively.
biased.
It's
You
not a
are.
it's not a biased thing. I mean, just
Mm,
look
it's a
when you
fact.
get
Okay.
someone that comes in and smokes your base and just gone, right? I mean, literally, when you see like the most devastating thing come into your loading screen, it's going to be a hunter. It just is. Now you have to be good at that. You have to have timing down perfectly. You have to understand, your ammo, clip, right? Your magazine, whatever you want to call it. You have to understand which spell to use when and placement is key. So this is where a lot of people get frustrated with hunters, and it is frustrating. Getting placement and shot placement is one of the most key components of a hunter, right? And once you get that shot placement down, it's really hard to go to any other dragon class. It really is, because you're just like, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. Whereas with a hunter, you just go in and like, 20 shots go and the tower's gone. It's instantaneous. You know what I mean? Um, so yes, a little bit of bias, no question about it. Their warriors are fine. Sorcerers are fine. Invokers are fine. If you can fly them well, then that's great. However,
Good for you.
the top flyers will always be flying hunters as their primary, right? Now, again, this is not exclusive. Sometimes a warrior comes out that just is a tank and just goes through everything. Yeah, at that point, sure, they'll probably bring out warriors too, but they're still flying hunters. You know,
If I'm doing something really, really important and difficult, I'll fly a hunter. But if I'm just attacking a beast based on PvE to make some gold, I'll just put a warrior on auto and just go and kill stuff.
oh yeah, just
That's it.
tank it, let it do its job. It, no, in no way, shape, or form am I belittling anything. Hunters are extremely frustrating. I would argue less so now than they were in the past. In the
But the
past,
learning curve is steep.
yeah, but the
For a
learn
good
exactly.
hunter, the learning curve is
It's incredibly steep. You have to have some dexterity going on with your hands. You have
and
to
some
really,
carpal tunnel. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Be able to
exactly.
count, all those
Oh yes,
highly prized skills.
you have to be able to count, yeah, and simple math, which, I mean, I don't know how I got away with this, but I manage to sometimes, but yeah, it's a different beast. And the thing about them is they don't handle getting shot, or they didn't used
Hmm.
to. Nowadays they're way more capable of that. In the past, you'd take one super shot, maybe a regular and a super shot, you're dead, you're
Yeah.
gone, it's done. There's no, let me just take this to the face so I can kill this other tower. You're done, dead.
Now you have some good shields and you have good energy recovery. Yeah, it's more
Yeah,
accessible to fly a hunter now. Yeah.
yeah, but they are frustrating. They really are. You can really
As
just
they should
lose your
be.
mind.
You're flying a dragon. It shouldn't be easy. That's my take on. I'm biased. Look, dragons, you want to fly it, take your time. The dragon should take its time to know you, and you should know your dragon. Yeah, it takes time. It should take time. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that lore part. You shouldn't just let's go. No, it doesn't work like that.
yeah. So on your book, so your book is called Hacking Through Time. It's by the, I'm assuming, a nom de plume,
Yes,
Pedro B.
correct.
Okay.
And some people actually online, I shared the cover of my book, and they just went mental. Oh, hacking! We can't talk about. Look, you ignorant piece of. Just because the word hacking is there, I'm not condoning it. I'm not
Well,
teaching it.
hacking historically wasn't what people see it as today, right? Hacking came
Correct.
from the BSD, the Berkeley System Design universe,
Did you read
and
my book? Because I speak about that, and the
no,
book is
I'm a
about 40
I'm a
years ago.
technologist, and I
40
started
years
my
ago, you know it.
career as a Unix sysadmin. So, hacking was what we all did
Yes,
as
you
a
had to.
normal course of action in our
You
daily
had to.
lives.
And
Yeah.
40 years ago, a hacker was a thinker, and I say a tinkerer, because you wanted a hacker in your team,
Oh
a
yeah.
geek. Now, you say the word hacker, and people online are like, oh, this shit is illegal. No, dumbass. I'm talking about the evolution of society, and what was 40 years ago is not the same thing. Now you have state sponsored actors and hackers. This didn't exist 40 years ago. There was no criminal mindset 40 years ago, but that's when the word originated.
Yeah.
So the same word evolved, its context in society evolved, and now it's a different thing. So this is not even fiction. This is my story about my professional career, and even before that, hacker then, hacker now. What the hell happened, and what might or might not happen in the future? Let's
Mm.
not talk about AI. I don't want to hear about AI. I work in cybersecurity, so I would never condone hacking. So I'm talking to the guy that said online that yeah, I can't talk. Yes, I can. It's what I do for a bloody living. It's to defend the companies I work for from these people. So yes, I can talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of things changed.
Well, and
Um,
there's a vast difference between, in the world of, what today's terminology terms hackers, there are two very distinct and separate factions, right? And they're known as the black hats and the white hats. And you could probably guess, but just in case, the black hats, bad guys, the ones everyone thinks of when they hear the word hacker. White hats are the ethical hackers. They're the ones on the security teams at large organizations that do things like penetration testing. How can I get in? Can I get in? If I can, how do I fix this so the black hats cannot get in? Right. But historically, hacking was typically a star X, right? Asterisk with star X, right? A Unix, Linux, BSD type of a term that
I
you
miss
would
those.
hack through stuff. And I remember at one point working for a company. I won't say the name, but in the comments in one of the code bases, one of the engineers had wrote in the comments, this is here to hack this particular feature function for this reason. And we were working with a company that was going to OEM things, and they saw this code and they're like, "Oh, you have to take that out. That can't be in there."
It's a
I mean,
comment.
it's a literal comment about we're hacking this feature to make it work, and but yeah, the term had become so you
Yeah,
know so bad or viewed so poorly that even a comment in a piece of code gave people you know
yeah.
a bad feeling.
I just hope that all the people that see the word hacker or hacking and throw a fit are as secure with their passwords and information as they like to be aggressive towards people that openly talk about hacking. Because I
Yeah.
talk openly about hacking. Was I ever a hacker? No. Did I did some things that were considered gray hat? Maybe, just out of curiosity. But I never did anything illegal. Except on Diablo 1 in 98, I was banned permanently. But that was just me being stupid. I deserved it. And, it was bloody hell, 27 years ago.
What did you do wrong besides
You
get
know,
caught?
Oh, geez.
You just said it. Yeah, I got caught shooting people on the city on top where you can't have a gun. I had a gun and I was shooting people. Yeah, everyone knew about it. There's a guy shooting people. You can't even. Yeah, I found a way. But yeah, nowadays, and I think that you can't just hide the hacking discussion under the rug. That's not good for everyone. The first ransomware attack, I wrote about it on my book. I ask people, when do you think the first ransomware attack happened? And people tell me 2005, 2010. No, it was 1989. It was done with floppy disks. It was the AIDS virus, some bullshit. 36 years in, we are still vulnerable to ransomware, so we're not doing that great. So talk about it. I tell everyone, talk about it. Know what it is. The best way to defend against all of this is to know what it is. Don't hide it. Don't think it's taboo. It's happening every day, every time. So I'm not gonna say embrace it. I was that close, but I didn't. But there needs to be an open conversation. It's about the shit. It's like the shit API. It needs to be discussed. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be hidden. The API, okay, we discussed some of the reasons. That explains a lot. I wish they had the time and resources to do better. Probably not going to happen. But yeah, it is what it is. And I still made the statistics website with a shit API. Yeah.
I think wherever there's a system in place, people are inherently going to, well, certain people are going to try to find a way to exploit that system. I mean, it started back even in the late 70s. They used to put whistles in Captain Crunch cereal, and people would blow the whistle into a telephone and get free long distance calls. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
Blue boxing.
considerably,
Yeah.
that would
I
be
was
hacking too, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
freaking. I also talk about that in the
Okay.
book.
My
I'm I'm not telling
my,
everyone to, but yeah, all of
my
that.
old
The 70s, the 80s, they were so foundational in what is today hacking. But those little things. Yes, I made
yep,
a couple of free phone calls back in the day.
Kevin Mitnick, man, the
I
legend.
had a free
Shout
Kevin
out.
T-shirt
Yep.
at the
Shout
time.
out
Of
to
course,
shout
of
out to
course.
Mitnick. My old sub to 1600. I miss those days. Those were fun. I mean,
And all the people from all the BBSs I ever
yep.
logged in with. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. We're
So
talking about really old technology, by the way, for anyone younger. We didn't, the internet was bare. I mean, it was there, but it was more of a DARPA project at that point. And what we would do is log on to bulletin board systems, which were kind of like ASCII forums, if you will. You could have mail, and you could go into a group, and you could chat with other people, more akin to an IRC server, really, if you think about it. But yeah, I mean, those days were great. And the tone, man, that modem tone. Yeah,
and the,
it's something
and the
else.
modem commands, because you had to fine tune the modem. I mean, nowadays when people tell me, "Oh, the internet is slow," shut up. You don't know what slow is. Okay, 300 characters per second, which was my first modem.
Yep.
That shit was slow.
Oh yeah.
This is not slow. Don't even think about it. So yeah, of course the API is not fast, but again, I'm biased.
Yeah, I worked for a company that did some of that. Somewhere around here, I have a Lexan coded chip from a 9600 baud modem. I remember those days. That was smoking fast.
It
That's
was
that.
fun. You had to fight for stuff. You
Yeah.
didn't just get TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and all that shit. No, you had to. When I first logged in on what is now called the internet, you had like a list of sites. There was no Google, there was no nothing. In the beginning, there was a list, and it was like a 2-page list of websites. And then we know what happened. But it
Oh
started
yeah.
like this. And I kind of miss it. I'm not gonna lie, I miss it.
Yeah, it was fun. You did a lot more thinking about what you wanted or what you needed before you went to go get it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's kind of like instantaneous. Let me just go grab a few images,
Click done.
download this video, and it's all there. Back then, you would really have to think, because an image, just a picture, could take 10, 20, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours just to download. And all the while you're watching it kind of like appear on your screen, just, line by line by line. And so, there was a lot more thought given to your activities when your ability to download was your scarce resource.
And then the resolution wasn't that great either.
It was great, man. Come on. We had
I think it was fun. That's it.
Like 64,
almost as fun as
128 pixels and stuff. I mean, it was just insanely.
I feel
cool.
like I missed out on a lot of that computer stuff because I never really got into the computers. The closest I did to hacking was I had one of those Game Genies for the Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
You hacker.
Or the up, down, down, left, right code. That was the most hacking I did.
Have you tried that in War Dragons? Maybe your dragon just.
I should have tried it.
Right.
You guys know what you're doing. Maybe you guys should develop like War Dragons 2 and put the original one out of business.
Yeah, like actually just start from the ground up and build one. I mean, you can use the information and everything contained in the existing game, but start from the ground up and build one on a new UI. If you're seeing this kind of resurgence of players and it's literally turning out to be the third best year for player adoption, that's a pretty clear sign that it would be maybe a good time to update,
Yeah,
I don't know.
There's a market for it. Absolutely.
If you need,
and sure. I know a lot of developers, and you're giving me ideas.
If you need anybody to handle your public relations on your game forum, I know a guy.
Do you?
Yeah.
Does it start with a J?
No, me.
Oh,
no,
you.
Him.
Yeah,
I forget that other guy.
That's not. I don't know if that's a big. Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good at public relations. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed. Money back guarantee.
So your book, Hacking Through Time, is really just, and I apologize, we did talk about reading the book, but I'm already behind on one book that I've been promising to read for a year now.
Well, this podcast was supposed to start out as a book club, and it didn't really work out.
Less than a year. Yeah, well, not a book club, but we were going to start with a book, and we will do that episode
one day.
Yeah. Hey.
Many people told me that people don't handle physical books anymore. Okay, fine. There's an ebook version too. Extremely cheap. So cheap that Amazon almost didn't let me sell it at that price. Because, Amazon gets a 40%.
Really?
And I wanted it. Yeah. And I wanted it cheap. And they said, yeah, it can't be cheaper than this because, we have our... I'm like, I wrote the book. I'm selling the book. You're getting the cut. You're getting everything. But we print it. We do the logistics. Yeah. The IP is mine. You sell it and 40%.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I prefer the physical copy myself. E-readers hurt my eyes. Maybe it's just a matter of finding the right whatever, but I like a book. One of my favorite things about books, honestly, the very first time I get a brand new book is to open it and stick my nose in it. I like the smell of new books. They smell good. I know. It
smells like Amazon printed. Yeah, definitely Amazon printed.
Do you have on your website? Can you buy the book to like cut out the middleman, or do you have to like exclusively go through Amazon?
Amazon, unfortunately.
Yeah, self-publishing is expensive.
If you poke me online or on Discord and don't say anything stupid, I can just give you a copy of the ebook. Because I didn't write the book to become rich, really. And I don't even know how writers do it. I wrote the book to dedicate it to my mother. She died 3 years ago. And, I took a year just at home, write the book for my mom. That's it. So if you say something on Discord, I can't give you a physical copy, but I can share you a copy of the ebook.
Well, that's nice. Yeah,
I'm not going to get rich. Not like this.
Well, to get rich, you're going to develop the game, and then in a couple of years, you can sell it to a Chinese investment company, and then just bail out, and then we can do the whole aircraft carrier farm thing.
There you go. There you go.
I like plans.
Right. Yeah. They won't sell us an aircraft carrier, which is sad. I have sads.
There are other options. We can make a floating beer can island or something.
Yeah, apparently all the warships they send to they send to, like, I think there's 2 companies that they send these things to, and they are mandated for salvage. Can't nothing else. Can't even make them a reef. You know?
Almost as bad as FedEx trucks. They destroy all them too. Yeah,
Do
you
they
can't buy
really?
one. Not from FedEx, like FedEx. You could buy a FedEx ground truck, but you can't buy a FedEx regular truck. They destroy them all. Same with
Wow.
UPS. You can't buy one of them either.
I did not know that. I wonder why. What are they doing?
Because they don't want
to the
people running
trucks?
around impersonating the company, I guess, or I don't know.
Yeah. Since we've been chatting, 3 new players.
Wow.
Yay.
Wow.
I know
3
it's
new
not
players.
much. I also have a chart with the players per day. Yesterday, for example, 26 players. It's not much, really. 10th of May, 79 players. It's not much, but it's one of the best years. So,
Just because
why did
because
Yeah.
I'm nosy, is there any way to see like a revenue stream going to a company like that, or is that like just private information they don't want you to have? Or I mean, whether they want you to have it or not, can you get it?
I know that War Dragons was making 1 million per month, but I never saw the data. It was just a news article that I
Okay.
read, so I believe it. And even if they had that data, they wouldn't put it in a place that would be accessible. And I
Yeah,
wouldn't hack anything to do it.
You could probably get a fairly good idea of that through, a number of business analytic sites.
Yes. You
But-
can check the company, and then you can check all the data that they are mandated to send, taxes, and
They're
you can do the
reporting.
math.
You can get their reporting, and there are sites that do analytics on them, but they're business sites, so you're going to spend a lot of money to have a subscription to be able to figure that out, unless you already have one. So, yeah, unfortunately, there
Not
it is.
worth it.
I don't think they're publicly. Are they publicly traded? Because if they are, that number will be in there. But PG is owned by
Tencent.
Which one is it?
They're owned by Tencent now.
10 cents. So you would get 10 cents reporting, which probably would not break it out by division, and PG would probably be a division of 10 cent.
Correct. I'm looking at the Tencent holdings stock share, which is pretty healthy in the past.
That Tencent bought up a lot of
years,
stuff, didn't they?
But they don't separate.
Yeah, they've bought up a ton of smaller
Yeah.
gaming companies.
It's up 24.84% in the past 5 years. So,
Wow.
props to them. They're doing well, but they're not going to tell us which is the PG part.
Yeah, which are the winners and which are the losers. They're not gonna put that out there.
I do miss the early days because I remember when the very first season they had, like, if you finished the season, they would actually give you a code to get a T-shirt. Like, I mean, it ain't a big thing, but that was pretty cool.
That is
Yeah,
pretty
and then
cool.
like there was a bunch of people that because I was doing the podcast at the time, and they're like, "Hey, I don't want this shirt," and they'd give me the code, and I had like half a dozen T-shirts. I started giving them away as prizes, and people enjoyed that.
You can't wear those
No.
anyway. They don't come
No,
in
they
your
didn't come
color.
in my color. I like this green.
He
It's
has
nice.
He has a thing for green shirts. So, although he does wear, desert camo tan
It's not
as
camo.
well.
It's coyote tan.
Okay, but it's the same
It's
color.
basically the same color.
Yeah.
It's a different name for the green color. Okay.
Yeah, it's a green tan. Is what
It makes it
is.
super easy reaching in the closet if everything's the same, right?
I hear you. Yeah.
I'm sure the neighbors
no
think like,
worries
man,
about
that guy wears
matching.
the same clothes every day. They can think what they want.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I want to read this
All
book
right.
now. I might go on Amazon and get one.
Yeah, it would be good.
I can share the ebook.
I
if
don't do
you-
ebooks. I don't even have a phone, so like I have an iPad and that's it. But I really don't like
It's
reading
like-
on it.
It's like $12 on Amazon. Really,
I
it's
think I
cheap.
can handle
It's really
$12 on Amazon.
Yeah.
I've wasted money on other stuff more than that, I'm sure, over the years.
Haven't we all?
You played War Dragons, right?
Yeah, dude, I even bought a couple packs over time, and every time I did, I'm like, man, that was stupid.
Yeah, this would
and
probably
then you buy it
but
again.
I mean, I've known people to spend a lot more. Like of that 1 million per month, I think I hung out with a couple people that are probably provided about half of that.
yeah.
Nice
yeah.
guys, though, really nice guys.
Yeah, between JL and Harv, you remember Harv? Between those two, I can't even imagine what that total bill looks like over their career. I just it's probably mind blowing. Most people would just be like,
It's
"What?"
impressive. I think I'd rather just have the cash, but like, hey, if that makes them happy, that,
yeah, I'd take the cash
I mean,
too.
if you have the
I've seen
income,
spend money on Farmville. Really, I've seen people spend money on Farmville.
Oh yeah,
So,
I mean, people
if that
spend
happens,
money on anything.
then
I actually played Farmville
To each
like
their
when it was
own.
on on the computer, like way back in the but then like one day I was just sitting there and I'm like, why am I doing this? This is stupid. There's absolutely no point to this whatsoever. And then that was the end of that.
I mean, what is the real point of any
No,
of the
there
games?
is none.
What,
Like, I mean, the War
It's just
Dragons thing,
entertainment.
you get your alarm going off at 3 a.m. so you can get up for 3 minutes to do the PvP so your team, stays in first place. But then you get,
That's only for the Achievers Club. there,
yeah,
Alex.
that's the grinding thing, I guess, like.
you like to
I
grind.
don't even know if any of the teams in D1 now still do that. I just don't know.
Really?
There's probably a handful, but I don't think the whole roster of D1 does that,
man.
by any stretch.
Slackers.
Yeah. It's not what it used to be, man. D1 is, and no offense to the D1 teams, but D1's a lot less scary now than it was in the past. In the past, you just don't touch the people with nukes. That was the the idea, right? Just don't do it. It's bad.
I did that once.
So,
did I ever tell you that story? Like
no.
my old team, somehow we ended up getting in the same league in D1 for some reason. I thought it would be funny. I declared war on Dread.
Oh, nice.
It didn't end well.
That's awesome. No, I'm sure it didn't.
My team was so mad because,
wow.
like, when you declare and you lose like more egg tokens that way. So they were not happy. They're like, "Why would you do that?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Can I just ask? Did you know what you were doing? Or...
Yeah, no, I just thought I was kind of being funny, but
it was. I bet it was fun for them.
yeah, I mean, it. I enjoyed the whole LC talk thing. That was part of the appeal for me. I liked getting people all twisted up and stuff, and getting.
You have Discord for that now.
Right? Yeah.
That was before they could block me. They had to listen to me back then.
Now Discord, you can have block, you can have ignore. The possibilities are mind blowing. I mean, I have so many people ignored and blocked. I don't even know what to pick. Oh, this guy ignore. Oh, you blocked. It's amazing.
You can do a lot of stuff with Discord. Personally, I like the forums. I've never been a big fan of Discord myself. I use a similar app. I personally like the look, the feel, and the flexibility of it more than Discord, which is Telegram. But that's me. I just think it's cleaner. It's smoother. It's everything Discord could have been, but never was.
Telegram has bots too.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of ported my bot from Discord to Telegram just to understand, can I do this? Yeah, doable. And I also
Right.
use Signal and Slack and Line because people don't get out of Line. I don't know why. It's
Yeah,
dead, but people are
Line's one
still
of
there.
those.
So
Line's one of those things that's just going to hang on forever. And one of the things that's really nice about Line is just super easy. You don't have to know anything. You don't have to be, conscientious about settings or anything like that. On the flip side, because of that, people can come in and nuke your room and cause problems and everything else because there're just no permissions. But it's one of those things just super easy. We'll set up a chat. It works. Everyone can join. There's no hiccups, no problems. So I get it, but yeah, Line's definitely not like it used to be. It's
yeah,
very quiet.
yeah.
Speaking of the forums, are they out there somewhere? Like people say, once something's on the internet, it's like out there forever. Are they archived anywhere, or
Oh,
is there any way to access
No,
yes,
those?
because the time
yes,
machine did not archive the forums, and if the
sure.
time machine did not archive the forums are lost forever.
Really, archive.org did not archive the forums. Probably because the logon requirement would be it. So only pages. Well, no, because it was all publicly accessible. That's interesting. I would have expected to see it on archive.org. I really would have.
Time machine. I think I already looked for it and did not find it. I could have been
Uh-oh.
wrong. I'm gonna check it again.
Uh-oh. Well, hello. Good morning. Good morning.
I do got another question for you. So we've all seen in
Okay,
movies where hackers they just pounding away on the keyboard. What are they actually doing?
They're being on a movie, pounding away on a keyboard.
And then they say zoom,
As
zoom, and
much-
enhance.
as much as I love Hackers the movie from 1995 because of Angelina Jolie, that movie is so unrealistic. I mean, the things the movie is talking about are kind of real, but the way that they're portrayed for the noobs out there, every single movie is bullshit.
Yeah.
Really, every single bloody movie is bullshit. And unfortunately, or not, I've been in places and I've seen real hackers. A real hacker might be a guy older than me sitting next to me on the tube. The stereotypical hoodie. No, I've met dangerous people that I would look at them and say, oh, this guy could be my uncle. He looks normal. No, they're not. They're very knowledgeable and very criminal. So, yeah, it's not as easy.
For example,
So, yeah, lots of movies, lots of Hollywood. No.
For example, the other guy here, he's got that black hat on. I don't trust him.
He's silent.
got
He's
nothing.
guilty.
I got nothing to say anything.
Pleading the fifth. Nope, I can't see any Wayback Machine or archive.org for War Dragons.
Ooh, talking about all this
Maybe we
hacking, we
should
might
ask-
actually get our first blue box YouTube warning this time. And
Oh,
maybe, I
really?
don't know.
I
Is that one of those
doubt it.
keywords you're not allowed to talk about? Oh,
No, I don't think so. I think nowadays they're fairly limited to,
things you're not going to say.
yeah, physical type
Yeah.
stuff. I think is really, and that's not something that's a topic for discussion on this particular podcast.
Building 7 of the World Trade Center.
Oh, Jesus.
That's going to get us one.
Speaking of things that we're not doing that, dude. This is the wrong audience for this particular session. Anyway,
I have a poster of New York there because I lived in New York. So, yeah.
very cool.
We'll go down that
Very
rabbit
cool.
hole next week.
Right? We can do that on our own. We don't need help for that one. All right. Well, I think we're getting close to time to wrap it up. So I'm going to ask you the same one question we ask every guest from the War Dragons community, and I'm going to throw it at you as well. Pick one person only that you would give a shout out to from the War Dragons community.
Anyone from the War Dragons community?
Yep.
it would have to be because of the art contest that was done last month or 2 months ago. I would have to give a shout out to Ghost because that music video, I had it on repeat. I didn't want to, but I ended up doing the whole, oh crap, I can't stop looking at this because it's so complex and so many. It's amazing. But I was so mad. I can't stop looking at this. I was mad, but I'm thankful because it was amazing. So yeah, Ghost, definitely.
I couldn't
Awesome.
stop humming that
Another
song
shout
all
out.
day.
Yes.
It was in my head.
See,
Yeah. Don't, whatever you do, if you're on channel, well, I don't want to say that either, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Sorry, Ghost. There's one on there called Baby Cert.
Mm.
If you would really, really like to, yeah, just, I don't know. If you're really into earworms, go click on that video, and you'll have a great day. With
I won't. I won't. I'm doing it.
Ghost Rider 419 on YouTube.
Yep, absolutely, and we'll throw a link up for Ghost as well. All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us for today. We really appreciate
Thank you.
having on. And like we said at the beginning, folks, give us a thumbs up, give us a thumbs down, leave a comment, engage, be interactive, and hit that subscribe button. Or don't, whatever. And most importantly, wherever you are, whenever you're listening to this, have an amazing day.
Thanks, everybody. See ya.